Okay, Malini, unmute radio.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Participants, am I audible? Please type yes on the chat box. Okay, fine. Okay, very good evening. Warm welcome to all. Thanks for your consistent support for the Skill Fest webinar series. On behalf of JA Group of Institutions, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you all for today's webinar on product lifecycle management, how computer programs transform the real engineering world. In industry, product lifecycle management is the process of managing the entire lifecycle of a product from inception through engineering design and manufacture to service and disposal of manufactured products. PLM integrates people, data, processes, and the business systems and provides product information backbone for companies and their extended enterprise. There are a lot of benefits when we use the process. We are going to hear a lot about PLM from the PLM expert. Today we have one of the leading PLM experts with us, Mrs. Malini Santhanam Panathula. It's my honor and privilege to welcome our guest on behalf of JA Group of Institution and all the participants. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Malini. Before getting into the session, the few points for the newcomers. At the end of the session, you can find a feedback form link at the top of chat box as a sticky note. I request every participant to click on the link and you can fill up the feedback form. Okay, and I request everyone to type your name in the capital letter. As well, you can provide the valid email ID. And the second, so here the technology we use here is purely rely on the strength of the local bandwidth. So if you have any audio or video issues, you can kindly click the reconnect button. It's you can find on the top of the screen, and you can the audio or video will resume. Okay, so otherwise the connection will suppose due to some problem if your the windows closed or if you are going out of this webinar room, okay, the connection will expire and again you have to re-register and you can enter into the webinar room. If there is any technical issues from our side, we will back in maximum of 30 seconds. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Okay, don't close the window or don't close the browser. Okay, you can stay back so that we will back in maximum of 30 seconds. So we will take the questions at the end. Okay, if you have any queries, you can type in the chat box. Okay, and select the option QA mode so that we will take all your questions at the end. So with this note, I am very glad to introduce our today's speaker, Mrs. Malini Santhanam Panathula. Malini is a happy working mom of two amazing daughters and proud alumnus of JI Engineering College. She has 12 years of industry experience in the engineering and IT sector. She started her career with one of the most aspirational IT companies called Infosys Technologies Limited. She worked for the research and development wing of Infosys named the Set Labs. This job took her to different cities like Mysore and Pune and made her very independent. Secondly, she worked for Ingersoll Rand, where she entered the PLM world and had hands-on experience in PLM tools like VR Matrix 1, PTC Windchill, and so on. Here she had been part of various projects which implemented PLM in manufacturing plants using legacy engineering system, migrated data from legacy systems to PLM systems, customized the PLM tools, and integrated the PLM systems with ERP systems. Malini also a prestigious winner of Ingersoll Rand President's Award for her significant contributions to the Project Prime for replacing various systems with the PLM systems division. Currently, she employed with Vaco India Limited as the Deputy Manager, where they customize the Windchill applications as per the company's need. Through such implementations, which generated good revenue, saved cost, and improved the process in product manufacturing and she realized the power of IT and computer programming and its impact in the real world engineering. She is very passionate about making a positive impact in society by helping the needy through CSR activities and through self-driven, like-minded friends network, and she has been serving society in possible ways and means. Great pleasure to have you for the day, Malini. With this brief introduction, on behalf of all the participants, we welcome you to present. Over to Malini.
Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful introduction. I hope I'm audible to all of you. I'm very happy to be back to Jaya institutions because I'm an alumnus, very proud alumnus of this college. And wherever I am, I still remember the good old days. Without much of delay, because there has been lots of introduction by Kumran sir, whom I thank wholeheartedly for remembering me and calling me for this webinar. I would like to start with today's topic, the product lifecycle management. So first, in today's world, just look around yourself. You would be seeing number of products: your AC, your car, your bike, your mobile phone, your laptop, your fan, right from a matchbox to a rocket. Everything is a product. So every product has a life cycle. It has a life. And now the need is to manage them properly so that you serve the customers properly, you keep your demand, you make profit, and you create a image for your firm, your company, your manufacturing unit as such globally, and get benefited. So such is the importance of a product being managed properly. So first of all, I would like to say where a product begins. A product initiates from an idea. Now, where an idea begins from? An idea begins from a problem. Someone saw that they cannot fly, and that was a problem, and they wanted a product to mitigate that problem. The idea of airplane was born. Someone saw that they can't swim a long distance, they have to sail and go to the other shore. They found the product ship, which was the solution for a problem. So in all ways and means, products has been making our life simpler and more efficient. Today, in this lockdown period, it is with the help of such technologically advanced products we are able to connect with each other. Internet is a product. Laptop is a product. Mobile phone is a product. All these products together has helped us to have something like this happening. So for all these products to work together, what is the level of effort that is taken and how that was initiated? Initially, it was a manual effort, and then at one point of time, with all this latest IT revolution happening around, it had to be done programmatically. Now, let me give a little bit of background. When we were all students, or some of you might be engineering grads who would be studying programming as your part of your curriculum, we would not understand the impact or the application in the real world engineering. That is why I have given a subtitle, How Programs Transformed the Engineering World. So we learn Java, we learn embedded C, we learn this, that, ABAP, whatever language you have, everything is just logic. Where do you put this logic into use? You make such changes in the real industry, be it be engineering world, be it be biomedical world, be it be finance sector, whatever. But there is lots of change that is happening due to programs. Because I am from a manufacturing sector, I am aware of the power of programs in manufacturing. That's what I'd be covering in. But I would definitely encourage all of you to find out the ways and means of putting your logic into application so that you can just get fascinated by the way programs change the world. Once you get to understand the impact, then I tell you, it is really addictive. You would love to do more and more of programming so that you can change the world to the best you could. And you'd really be proud to do this for your own society. Well, Now, I was telling you how a product is built. It is built from an idea comes from a problem, and then when with that idea we cannot make a product as such. We don't have magical powers, so we need engineers who can design them, who can actually create the product and then manufacture them and then assemble them. If you have seen bikes, cars and all, there are lots of products that gets manufactured and then it is all sent to one person who will assemble it and make it as a bike that actually looks like the end product. Then it is sold. Once it is sold, then it doesn't end there. In today's world, a company which services properly is the company that lives longer. If you get a product A, if you get an AC from company A and an AC from company B, and company B always calls you up, follows up and finds out that you can service it easily, you can service it for free. If you service, you will replace such parts, guarantee, warranty, all these things are covered. So for what kind of parts you need to service more, for what kind of parts you can service lesser, what will have more demand, all these things are counted as servicing. So that is also taken care by the PLM, product lifecycle management. And then once all this happens, product's life comes to an end. That means it is becoming a scrap. So in today's world, you cannot just like that throw the scrap into the sea. You need to do something good about it. You need to create some value out of it. Otherwise, we are just dumping everything in landfills and sea and creating more problems. So for greener companies, they need to think of what to do with the scrap. So there is something called a scrap management. So right from the time you have an idea born till the time it is being scrapped, your entire product is taken care by one particular holistic system that is called as the product lifecycle management. Now I would like to go to the slides. You will not be able to see my face for some time. I'll be back while we do the question and answer session. I would have loved to do this face to face, and we could have had it more interactive, but this is what we could do today. Please have your questions in your mind and keep us posted at the end of the session. I would take 40 minutes of your time for presenting, and then we can have a question and answer session. Well, let me take a case study and explain why there was a need for PLM as such. You all would have known this Challenger space shuttle story. That was a space shuttle that was launched on 28 January 1986. And just after 73 seconds of its launch, the space shuttle blasted. It was destroyed. There were 7 live human beings who were burnt alive. The members lost their life. After an analysis of such a disaster, they found out the bill of material had unapproved parts. That means I'm telling you some new concept called bill of material. Most of you might know. Say, instance, you take your laptop. To build your laptop, what do you need? You need your RAM, you need your hard disk, you need your keyboard, you need your screen, you need the touch panel, you need a speaker, you need some USB ports, you need a charger, you need a web camera, all of these things. You need the motherboard, of course. You need the processing units, you need the microprocessors. All these together forms the bill of material of the laptop. Likewise, the space shuttle had a bill of material where the parts which were not at all approved by the people who have to approve was included, and it was manufactured, it was built, and it was even launched. Just imagine, it is 7 lives. It's about the nation's money. It's about the pride. You know, right, how it feels when your space shuttles are lost. It is such a bad example of not managing a product properly. So let me get into the this was in 1986, though it was a season where PLMs was almost introduced into the industry, but it was not into the full-fledged lifecycle management. This Challenger space shuttle, in this, the product is the space shuttle, and managing it across its life cycle was so challenging, and it was manually managed. That means some person, some ABC, would be responsible to find out the order in which the assembly needs to be taken care, the parts, how it has to be assembled, what are the parts that are needed, what is the material in which it will be made, what is the design, what is the size, what is the shape. All these things was manually done. That means someone getting into someone else's mind and finding out whether it is right or wrong is extremely impossible. That means there is a need for a system. If there is a CAD design, there has to be a system where we can show that this is my design. This where I can show a prototype, where I can show a simulation, where a person who knows more about this can come and review my design, can come and review the way I have actually formed the product. That was the basic need to create something like a create a holistic approach like this for managing a product throughout. So PLM was found to be the solution, and PLM was not a baby born in one day. It was built in various levels. So before getting into all of this, I would first define what is PLM. I think Kumran sir already did it, but I would like to reiterate the definition. I'm going to read this from the slide. So what is PLM? It is the process of managing the entire life cycle of a product from inception through the engineering design and manufacture to service and disposal of the manufactured product. That means right from the time it is an idea till the time it is scrapped, we will be taking care of the entire life cycle of the product. So how is it done? It is just told that you from the idea from the to the scrap you would take care. So what do you do? That means it has a lot of people involved in it. There is a lot of data involved in it. There is so much of process involved for approval, for designing, for manufacturing, for selling, for scrapping, for all of this. There are so much of process involved, and this is done by various business systems. There is someone from the sales who has to do something, marketing who has to do something, some engineering has to do engineering work, then the pre-sales has to do something, marketing has to do something, manufacturer has to do something, and a person who collects the sales data has to do something, a person who gets the customer feedback has to do something. So there are so many business systems that needs to be involved. So this becomes the backbone of any company, or to the extended enterprises also. So it becomes one point of truth to give the data to various sectors, various departments. That is how PLM integrates all of this. Let me go to a little bit of history. It is actually nice to know why and when this was started and how it was started. This concept of PLM was first started as configuration management, which was started with the United States Department of Defense, where they started, where they understood that managing the defense products, they needed documentation, they needed tracking, they needed the properties to be more understood, and they started doing configuration management. But in 1950s it was still paper based. That means that time computers was not so affordable. If defense of United States cannot afford computers, then think of other industries. Of course they would have not imagined to afford computers that time. So they were mostly doing the configuration management in papers at itself. So later on, then came products like Unigraphics by McDonnell Douglas. It's a famous engineering company. Then now it is Siemens PLM, which was, these product companies keep buying and selling tools from one from another. So there was Dassault system, which found out CATIA. And then came the season of CAD designing, where it was becoming more and more popular. If you had seen the ancient engineering drawings, you would see A0 sheets spread all over the floor. Then the engineers are walking over it and drawing huge products like cars, like rockets. They have to design it in a mapped manner. There was so much of difficulty, but today sitting at our desk we can design a product which will be launched into the space. So after this CAD was when this CAD tools were introduced, they found out that with the number of volumes of versions that was getting created, like I create a version and I go for a change, and then a new version is created, and in that there is a different line item, in that there is a different bill of material. So managing them needed a separate specific management called product data management, PDM. PDM later on becomes the PLM. That means first PDM is a standalone data collection. That means all the parts, all the products, sub-assemblies, supplier parts, manufacturer parts, vendor parts, all of this together was put into one system called PDM. But nobody else, not the ERP system, not the sales system, not even the manufacturing sector had much of access to the PDM system. So there was a need for making this more holistic. Well, if we see which was the first product that officially used PLM to manufacture something, that was American Motors Corporation in the year 1985. They developed the Jeep. They used PLM process to develop Jeep Grand Cherokee, and that was officially not fully computer based, but at least part of it computer based and part of it manual. They could successfully manage the life cycle of the product pretty well. Now let me get into the evolution of PLM. First, this all started as data management and file vaulting. Like all huge CAD drawings, they started slowly making that in a system. It was not paper based. That means all of the CAD drawings had to be securely managed. It has to be saved digitally somewhere. So they needed file vaulting systems, and from them they from those drawings they extracted the part numbers that were used in the drawings, and that was managed to the PDM. And then small workflows were triggered where the CAD drawings were getting approved. Like I am a CAD engineer and I draw a drawing and I send it to my boss, and my boss approves it, says your drawing looks good. Or he says, no, this design doesn't work. You have to make changes in this. You have to make changes in the engine. You have to make changes in the compressor. Something like that. He gives me a feedback and I do another version and I send a reiteration. So all these things had a workflow. So there is one more boss who wants to check if the quality is matched. Then there is one more boss who wants to check if the company's branding is matched. So there is a workflow. That was engineering data management. Then came the concept of bill of material in the system. That was the BOM, and how it was changed. For instance, if for engineering companies, if you create and design a product today, it's not going to stay like that forever. For instance, you have Grand i10, and then there is a version Grand i20 released. That means a CAD engineer doesn't sit and redraw the entire car. He doesn't redesign everything. Only what is changed from i10 to i20 is the delta, and that delta is taken care by the designer, right? That means there is a change management that is put into the place, so that this PDM, I'm telling about this early 1990s where all of this were taken care. Well, to Indian industries, it came pretty much later. If you go and find out more about that, it will be more interesting. I think it is after 1995 only Indian industry started using. So with this, the BOM and the change management was happening. And then there was also a need for finding out what is required in the market, what needs to be handled, what is the new product that needs to be developed. All those things were captured in the PLM system. That means an NPD, new product development. Or it doesn't need a new product. I'm just asking for a corrective action. So it's a CAR, corrective action request. So there are various kind of workflow process that is handled by a PLM system, which actually makes changes from the current version that is being manufactured to the new version that is expected in the market. That means when we are manufacturing, we suddenly cannot stop manufacturing the current version. There need to be a date finalized. Even if you go to the car showroom, he will say, these are the last few pieces of this version of car. And next year, if you go to, if you see, you will be having 2020 model. You will not have 2019 model anymore. So that's what the car seller will say. That means how is that decided? That is decided by a manufacturer who says that this is the end date after which you will not have any manufacturing of a whole product of that car. Then even if you see, we are stopping the support by stopping the replacement parts and the service parts for very old version like 1980 car, 1995 car, like that they would announce. That means that those cars are not anymore they do not have any replaceable parts. So all of these are managed by the effectivity date and the date in which they stop manufacturing, or the date in which they start manufacturing the newer version. So with all this, we come to the earlier configuration management phase, which is like 1995, where they do this product structure management and the configuration management, where along with that they started doing that as project management and a enterprise level integration. That means, you see, it is not just the engineering, it is engineering, it is manufacturing, it is ERP, it is sales, it is marketing, it is pre-sales, it is post-sales. All these things together comes, and the enterprise is integrated through this system. And then there are web architecturing that is happening, where there are so many PLM users who can just log in, approve their task, or get their task assigned, or do the correction which they are supposed to do, and then send it. That means here there was a lot of people force that could be added. It need not be one person at one place who has to take care of all these things. And by this time, entire knowledge came into the system, so it is purely independent of the people. If you go to very old manufacturing companies, even today, if they do not have a PLM process, there will be a very old man sitting. He will say what is the assembly that needs to be done. He will have it by heart. Oh, line number 10 this one, line number 20 this one, line number 30 this one. You do this assembly. But in case you lose that particular person, that means you're in soup. You cannot manufacture as you used to manufacture. Your quality will go down. You will have a lot of issues. But then if it is managed, anything must not be people dependent, right? So if it is managed through PLM, the system will talk to you. The system will say that this is where the project has stopped. This is the task that needs to be completed. This is the task that we are waiting for. Next 30 days, we will manufacture this version of the car. Or next 40 days, we will have this kind of extension. Or we have this kind of a phase in a new product development. We are waiting for approval from these departments. We are waiting for this vendor and manufacturing deal to be closed. All these things are communicated to you through tasks. So now who is generating all these tasks? It is just the pure computer programs you have behind. They are called the workflows. So these workflows, right from the parts, drawings, all the reference documents, all the uh, uh, change request, change notices, and all of these change requests are classified as subdivided as change task. Those change tasks has parts which are affected by them, the parts which will be resulting as a result of the change. All these things are managed by this computer programs by managing the life cycle of that or managing the workflow of it. So next, after this, it is not even project management. It is not even product level management. Now the industry is going towards portfolio management, where numerous projects put together forms one portfolio, and one PLM system can handle many portfolios. Each portfolios is answerable, or it can bring a revenue of so many $1 billion to the company. That means you are taking care of the innovation, you are taking care of the future needs. See, nobody knew that we need an Apple iPhone unless and until one was given to us on hand. Nobody needed a AC till the time they actually enjoyed the pleasure of it. So there is actually a demand that is created by the industry which never existed also. So once you launch a product and people get a look and feel of it, and then they start realizing the worth and the comfort that it adds to their life, then there is a new demand that is created. So this generation products are not just solutions to existing problems. They are products that can bring more comfort, more joy, more pleasure, more ease into their life. So those things are managed by the innovations. So that is a part of this new product development initiatives and the innovations management. Even mechatronics for that matter. Now mechanical, for instance, many times we would be wondering where is our AC remote. Nowadays, there are ACs which can find out where is your remote. It will send a SMS alert, or it will give a beep beep sound. So your AC has a mechanism to connect to the Wi-Fi if you want to turn on before you even get into your home, or you want a system that can find out if there is a stranger who is coming, and there is a CCTV camera. There is a camera which gives you alert pop up when someone enters your home when you have logged it. So all these are mechatronic products where electronically it manages your need more than the way you even imagined it to be. So all this is because of the way PLM has evolved from baby stage it was, from the data management kind of technology to the level of innovation and demand creating technology. And there is lots more. I'm just talking about 2000 2005 place. Now in the future slides I'll talk about what PLM has in store for us in the future. Well, before that, let me tell you what PLM is today. I think we already spoke about it, but I would just read through this slide. So power of PLM today is the design, the engineering, and the service is done at the desk. You don't have to have any physical copy. You don't have to run behind anybody to get your approval. And the CAD system, till the ERP system, everything is integrated that you will never miss entering a part, or not adding to your cost, or not sourcing it beforehand, or maintaining an excess stock. In companies, the biggest problem is maintaining excess stock, which will never have demand. Such things can never happen. You manufacture or you source something only when there is a demand, and there is versioning and rework that is made very, very easy, so that you don't have to rework everything. If there is a problem, for instance, there were few instances of mobile phones getting burned when in charge, but it did not take long time for the companies to correct and bring a new version and say that it has been reworked, it is safer now. And there are today even software components are treated as parts of the uh, product only. For instance, in a mobile phone, or you will never find uh, if you see the bill of material of a mobile phone, the software components are added as bill of material itself, as a component itself. And as I told you, this is covering from ideation till sales currently. Okay, now I'm giving an example from a company where I work. I work for WAPCO India Limited. So WAPCO makes automated brakes and other braking systems for mostly commercial vehicles, for large vehicles, or for big kind of cars like Benz, Volvo, and things like that, or mostly buses, trucks. So any company today doesn't manufacture everything that is present in a product. So every company has its own suppliers, has its own manufacturing units in various parts of the world. For instance, you see WAPCO manufactures in various parts, like it manufactures in US, it manufactures in India, it manufactures in China, it manufactures in Europe. And then wherever is the need, it keeps supplying. And then it gets parts from its own supplier like DuPont, and it suppliers brakes to Benz, it supplies to Volvo, Ashok Leyland, it supplies to Tata Motors, and then it supplies to other servicing things. Like now you have manufactured a brake and you've given it to the truck manufacturer, but in case the brake fails, the truck manufacturer is not responsible. A person who does the servicing will come to you, and he will get the servicing parts. So you sell it to the aftermarket guys, and you keep the spare parts ready for servicing. That way, each of these manufacturing part delivers to various organizations, and all of these parts together is managed by PLM. That means a PLM system does not only have your own company data, but it has the data of your manufacturer, your supplier, your vendor, your whatnot, your subsidiary, your aftermarket companies. All of those are managed by this system. Now, in this perspective, I would like to show you various perspectives of data. For a customer, it is just the end product. Like if I go to buy a car, as a layman, I don't mind what is there inside the car. If I'm little bit more inclined towards automotive, then I might find out what kind of engine is there, what is the power it has, what kind of battery is used. But in a layman's term, what maximum question you would ask for, you would ask what is the mileage, what is the cost, what are the features, does it have a good music system, does it have automated windows elevation, and things like that, which appears fancy for us. So in a customer's perspective, it is not so much detailed. That's what this slide shows. But in a product group's perspective, it has so many components that is listed, which makes this product. And in a value streams perspective, what kind of a value you add through the product, that is managed. And as a supplier library, what you get from the supplier, what is needed from the supplier, what is expected out of the supplier to make this product, that is also managed. So all these things together is kept inside this one technology. So let me go to the benefits of PLM. Now you would have understood. Now there is no manual work, there is no delay in approval, and even today, in today's world, if I'm going on leave in PLM system, I can just go and say, from this date to this date, there will be someone else who will take care. So it is not like government office anymore. It doesn't stay back, and it is not like it will never be attended till the time a person is back. So it is purely person independent, and it fastens the time in which the product can be manufactured. Now that is the key selling point, right? If someone manufactures a product which is of similar specification, and it is launched on 1st of January by a company and 1st of March by another company, definitely a company which is launched 3 months before will win the market like anything. So shorter time to market is the mantra for any product launch in this era. So shorter time to market and reduce compliance risk. For instance, you have a set of compliances that needs to be followed in India, in Europe, in US, different set of compliances. So you change the part specification according to the compliance, and then the approval process is automatically applied to that. And then such parts or products which does not go through the compliance is never allowed to be manufactured. It is never released, and it is never allowed to be manufactured. So all of this put together, it decreases the cost. You don't have to pay huge number of penalty, or don't have to take care of a huge number of fines for not being compliant. And if you launch earlier, you get more money as return of investment. And it also, next point is, it increases the productivity of the company, because every day when we get into a work, we would like to get that going as fast as it could. We don't want to do the same boring thing again and again. So if everything is done through an automated workflow, and a person just has to do following checkpoints, say A, B, C, D is correct, then my task is correct and I approve. Something like this is done, so it increases the product rapidly. With all this, of course, an interdependent point is it increases the revenue and the growth. So innovation is taken care by itself, and the product quality does not have any problem at all. These are some of the tools that are most popular in today's market, some of the PLM tools, in which I have worked for Winchell, and I've worked for Innovia, little bit of Team Center. So there are many other industries, old manufacturing plants, which still is slowly migrating to PLM system. If you see in a company, there would be some plants which are totally into PLM and some plants which are not. So many companies are opting to get into this PLM mode and one PLM system for the entire organization and things like that. Now the agile model is getting more popular. Oracle Agile PLM is all getting more popular. There is SAP PLM, which is integrated with the SAP ERP. There are other PLM systems also which integrates with multiple ERP. There is Oracle ERP, there is SAP ERP. Any PLM system can talk with any other ERP system. And mostly the CAD design and the PLM system goes hand in hand, like it is CATIA that works with Innovia and Creo that works with Winchell. It is like that. So there are these most popular tools, and any company for that matter do not take directly the PLM technology from a company and start using. They customize it for their own business need, for their own manufacturing process, for their own engineering styles. And that is what we actually do. We do the customizations. We do the we do a plan. We do introduce a manufacturing plan to start using Winchell, and we train them and things like that. Now, this is something very interesting. Now, whatever we have discussed, you will see this in this 4 boxes. So first, when it was introduced, it was just the basic CAD data that was managed in the PDM, and then the maturity change and uh, the standard libraries, all those things were put into the first version. Then the need for managing the engineering BOM, manufacturing BOM, and the ERP wanted to be integrated. The requirements had to be captured. It needed more collaboration with the CAD softwares. So that was PLM 2.0. Now I'll tell you what is EBOM and MBOM. So in case EBOM is just the parts that together forms the end product, that is in the engineering perspective. But in while manufacturing, you will need multiple extra products, extra parts which needs to be assembled together. For instance, if I say I need to screw a nut and a bolt, I will not mention about the oil that I need to put in it. The oil is a part of manufacturing bill of material, while the nut and bolt is a part of engineering bill of material. So to screw a nut and bolt, theoretically it is enough to have these both, but practically you need the oil, you need the lubricant. Likewise, there are many things which is specific to the MBOM. All those things, that differentiation started with PLM 2.0. Then came the PLM 3.0, where they had more of integration of application lifecycle, and then they had more integration with CAD and MBOM and SBOM, the service level of bill of material, what is needed for servicing a product. All those things were done. Now, the most interesting thing is the future that is waiting ahead. Now, if you see wherever you want, if you want to order a spectacles also, if you just go to lenscard.com, you can see augmented reality. You can just scan your face and show how the product fits your face. That is augmented reality. So that is PLM 4.0. So in PLM 4.0, there is virtual reality, there is augmented reality, there is internet on things. That means a product has internet connected to itself, and it will tell, for instance, a compressor is running out of something and it needs to know if the compressor is going to fail. Just imagine if the compressor could tell by itself, or if an oxygen tank is almost going to die in get exhausted in a hospital, then if the oxygen tank could message you, and if you had to refill by itself, then there is no cause of accident, right? And the service level management and application level management, all those things are getting integrated in this PLM technology. You would have heard about this industry 4.0 and smart factories. All those things are going to get along with this PLM, and it is going to be one fantastic holistic design which sorts or solves all the problems faced in a manufacturing industry. These are the references which I had. I think I just finished by the promised time. And I have taken this from many of the sources where I've studied and learned. Some of them are from my job. Some of them are from books and internet, and all of them are purely for educational purpose. And I hope you will get benefited seeing all of this. I think we can go to the questions part of it. I'll come back to the video.
Thank you, Malini. There are a lot of questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Yeah. The first question: what's the exact work of an PLM employee in the service-based company?
Okay. So in service-based company, mostly they deliver such services for a manufacturing company. For instance, there is WAPCO, and WAPCO might go and consult Infosys or TCS for some specific PLM process to be done, for customization to be done, for data migration to be done, all that. So it is mostly in service sector. Whoever is working for the manufacturing division of it, they would be working on PLM. Should I go more detailed into it?
Yes, enough.
Yeah.
So the next question, why PLM is the drive innovation?
Why PLM?
Is the drive innovation?
Why PLM drives innovation, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Most of the time what happens is innovations are like everybody keeps giving idea, but all ideas are not implemented. They are mostly forgotten. But if there is one place which could capture all of this innovation and then track them till the end it is implemented, then that is when a product will be successfully launched in the market. So PLM does that.
The next question, if the product is failed, how the PLM to take action in respect to the company?
Okay. So when a product actually fails, it needs a lot of manual intervention also. So a person who is responsible for collecting the customer feedback would find out the problem and then report it as a problem report. That problem report is analyzed and the root cause is found, and then a change request is created. So that change request needs a specific kind of corrective actions which needs to be taken, and that in order would need modification of a drawing or a part or assembly or something like that. That is done, and then the new version of the product is released. But if in case it has to be replaced by the company to the customer, it is done by them only by taking the full cost.
So next question, can you name any source for the students to learn Winch?
Winchell.
Yeah.
There is PTC University, but I would say, first of all, to learn Winchell, you have to be very strong in Java technologies. If you are very strong in Java technologies, there are a lot of online sources in which you can learn. So if you are good in that itself, you are almost ready to do a Winchell customization.
So
There
what's
are
the
specific training institutions, but I would not recommend that. I think this is not the forum for it.
so what's the job prospects for the freshers in PLM?
Very good. It's very interesting. That is why I have taken this topic also. This is something which can connect, and it is always on trend. It is connecting with like smart factories, augmented realities, virtual realities. All those new concepts are integrated with this, so it is always in demand.
So some question. Uh, okay, if I am taking a career in as a PLM engineer, what are the skills required, and what are the programming languages I should learn?
Okay.
Is the programming knowledge is essential to become a PLM engineer?
As a business analyst, no, but I would always recommend that you understand the various fields involved in a technology. It is you would for instance, I am a IT graduate, but only after I understanding the manufacturing and a production part of the engineering I could enjoy PLM. So it is very important for us to understand a product from various dimensions and things. But if you want to get into PLM implementation kind of thing, then you need to be very strong in Java. Basically, object oriented technologies, you need to be very strong. And you need to have a good requirement analyzing skill. You need to have problem solving ability to find out what is needed in industry and what needs to be changed. And these are the things that is very much expected out of a PLM engineer.
Yeah. So, what are the inputs and outputs of PLM?
Input is mostly the problem or the idea. Output is the product itself.
Is there a basic life cycle to follow a small business to improve their PLM?
Yes, there is. Actually, not all companies will go for a very detailed PLM implementation. For small scale industries, there are simple workflow process. They don't even use such big customized PLM products. There are some smaller level of PLM implementations also. But when the implementation is very small, then it is called the PDM or the configuration management kind of systems. Generally, for a larger scales, if PLM is, it involves a lot of cost, it involves a lot of people. So only if it is worth putting so much money, any company would recommend PLM for it.
So I think that's the end. Participants request everyone to fill up the feedback form through which the certificate will be generated. So you will receive the certificate in maximum of 2 days. If you have any other queries, you can send through the chat box. Anyway, we will take the questions after some time. So thank you very much, Malini, for spending time with us in your busy schedule. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. The participants now come to know about the necessity of PLM in every industry. Also, there will be a number of resources in demand in this particular process. So, thank you very much for the presentation. Your presentation is extremely good. That's what the participants commented in the chat box. On behalf of Jaya Group of Institution and all participants, once again, I thank you, man. At this juncture, I place my thanks to our Chairman, Professor A. Kanagaraj, our Secretary, Ma'am, Mrs. K. Vijay Kumari, our Vice Chairman, Engineer Navaraj, our Principal, Dr. K. Swamitore, and all my colleagues who rendered their support for continuing conducting this particular webinar series. So next week we have a 5 power-packed session, which includes a variety of programs. The next week we have the program. Just a minute, next week Monday. So we have a program called Transforming from a Student to a Professional: The Expectation and the Reality by Mr. Raja Ganeshan, who is a project manager from Emphasis Limited. And the second, we have a digital twin next generation technology for web. Mr. Harinath is a product manager, Buddy Health. And third, we have other different kind of a variety of event like yoga related thing, asanas as a preventing technique, a systematic view. So by Yoga Acharya S. Elilarasi, who is the founder and director of Yogalaya Healthcare Institute. And fourth, we have maximizing the use of curriculum mapping. So it's more on the curriculum mapping. So well, it can be helpful for the faculty, those who are going for kind of accreditation by Dr. Sarvanan Venkatesan. And the fifth, we have a very interesting session like artificial intelligence vision technology, making machines to see. Ms. Rekha Jayaprakash is a research scientist, imaging and vision technology, Fraunhofer Heinrich Hertz Institute, Berlin, Germany. So these are the 5 sessions by next week. I request everyone to extend your full support and cooperation for this particular topics. Thank you all for your active participation. Thank you one and all. We will meet again by Monday at 6 p.m. Until then, it's a sign up. This is Professor M. Kumar. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Malini.
Thank you, sir.